Good afternoon. Thank you all for being patient with me as I work through one of my requirements. I haven't had a chance to do it. I'm pretty excited. So actually, because of the Leader in Me, I actually talked to Liz because I wanted my presentation to go around the Leader in Me and giving our group, I guess, a little quick coaching session. And she suggested that this is a booster that they've been doing in several schools in preparation for 2019. Since we're getting ready for a new school year, or a new start to the beginning of a new part of the year. So what we're going to talk about is the paradigms. We've talked about them many times. We're going to specifically, there's the 5 common paradigms that we've discussed in our training. We'll review those in a minute. But today, the paradigm we're really going to focus on is change starts with me. So first, what I'd like to do is review the common paradigms that we've talked about before and how the Leader in Me has made those more of a lead paradigm and lead thinking. Who would like to volunteer to read? I can just call on you.
Here, I'll go.
Okay, go ahead. You can read all of them, or you can just read 2. And
The common paradigm?
read the common and how it changes
All right.
for the Leader in Me.
So leadership is for the few, and then everyone can be a leader. A few people are gifted. Everyone has genius. To improve schools, the system needs to change first. Change starts with me. Educators control and direct student learning. Educators empower students to lead their own learning. Focus solely on academic achievement. Develop the whole person.
Thank you very much. So with that being said, we've looked at some of these before regarding being a leader, how we look at our students, the expectations we have for some of our students. But today we're going to focus more on ourselves and what are some of the things that we can do to help make that change for our students or for our classroom, or even it could be in your personal life. Just a reminder with the Leader in Me and anything that we do, we always start with ourselves. We begin from the inside out, which is you. Then we go from that, then you can affect what's happening around you, such as the other staff in the building, your students, and in conclusion, your family, community. So you have to start with yourself and work out. Now this was a little longer, but it's a pretty good little story. Another volunteer. I hate to volunteer people.
When I was young and free, and my imagination had no limits, I dreamed of changing the world. As I grew older and wiser, I discovered the world would not change. So I shortened my sights somewhat and decided to change only my country. But it too seemed immovable. As I entered my twilight years, in one last desperate attempt, I settled for changing only my family, those closest to me. But alas, they would have none of it. And now here I lie on my deathbed and realize, perhaps for the first time, that if only I had changed myself first, then by example I may have influenced my family, and with their encouragement and support I may have bettered my country, and who knows, I may have changed the world.
Thank you, baby. So with paradigms, going back to that a little bit, thinking about this paradigm, or thinking about this person's story, and how sometimes I think we all think with the big picture and we don't realize we could just think quickly about ourselves or about a smaller event or a smaller change that we could make. So paradigms, if you're not real familiar, are the way we see the world. And Leader in Me focuses more on looking at the paradigms more of a leader point of view. And it's not really what you see with your visual, but it's how do you interpret things? How do you perceive things that are happening around you? We definitely interpret everything that we experience through our paradigms. And many times we seldom actually question the accuracy of our thoughts. We think it is what it is, and that's what we believe. But usually sometimes, because we're unaware of those things, a lot of times we can assume things that we aren't actually seeing correctly or the way they should be. Our behaviors and our attitudes will grow out of those assumptions, and then we see things as a source of a way that we think, which could be maybe not always thinking as a paradigm of leadership, but also stuck in kind of the way we've always done things. So how can we change this? What can we do differently? Think about that for a second. How many people can we change? Anybody have an idea? Show with I see a lot of people show me with their fingers. One. If you did a 1, you are correct. Yes, the only person you can change is yourself, right? Now you can have influence, right? You can have influence on many people. Influence on our students, influence on our family, but you can really only change yourself. And that's what we're going to look at today. Which do people follow quicker? Do they follow footsteps that people take, or do they follow your advice? Footsteps. They're going to watch you, especially our students. They watch you, they listen. They don't always listen with their ears, but they see what you're doing. Okay. We're going to watch a quick video from the Leader and Me. What I'd like you to do while you're watching, you may have seen this video before because we've watched several videos through the Leader and Me process. But I want you to look at it at a different point of view. Look at how the person, the teacher, administrator actually, in this video took the mindset of change begins with me and start thinking of ways that maybe things you can do to help change in yourself. Oops. Wrong one.
You are at the helm of a huge ship, moving forward at high speed. How is it possible for a single person to change the course of something so massive? To change the ship's course, you move a steering wheel that operates a rudder, which then turns the ship. But the rudder itself can be enormous, perhaps even 10 stories tall on some ocean liners. So what moves the rudder? A tiny second rudder attached to the big rudder called a trim tab. Through the marvels of engineering, when the trim tab swings to one side, it creates just enough vacuum that it pulls the big rudder around. The trim tab is tiny compared to the size and weight of the ship, yet it is the trim tab that determines the ship's course. Sometimes it may seem that making changes in our lives or in our jobs is like turning a huge ship. But the principle of the trim tab, that small changes can have a big impact, applies to many areas. Far too many people are not engaged in their work. They are neither fulfilled nor excited. Most of all, they feel powerless to change anything, and they blame it on the organization or their boss or their lack of authority. In truth, you are the creative force of your own job and life. No matter what role you play, your contribution can make a difference. You can become a trim tab. How? Simply by focusing on what you can do, even if it's outside of your job description, and then make small adjustments and improvements along the way. When Madeline Cartwright became the principal of an inner-city elementary school, she found a desperate situation. A filthy building, a discouraged teaching staff, apathetic parents, and children who were just trying to survive in an unbearable environment. Madeline had many reasons to be discouraged, even to think that change would be impossible. One day, she pulled aside the custodian to talk about the stench that permeated the hallway from the boys' bathroom.
Clean this bathroom, Mrs. Cartwright. It looks clean. The smell is coming from the floor. There's 10 years of urine in the concrete. It won't come out. I need a bucket of hot water and some brushes. Hot water and brushes? You heard me.
Oh, she's taking her shoes off.
doesn't it? Yes, indeed.
Word spread quickly about the new principal's action that day. Students and faculty alike, even parents were talking. Even out in the community they talked. If she had wanted to send a strong signal that the school was changing, she had found it. She also noticed that day after day some children came to school in the same dirty clothes. She believed that if children felt dirty and uncared for, it would impact their ability to learn. So she organized a fundraiser to purchase a washer and dryer, and the community helped collect spare clothing. If children had dirty clothes, they could change into the extra clothes and go to class. Teachers and other volunteers would wash the clothes, and when the children came back in the afternoon, their own clothes were fresh and folded. She continued to apply the trim tab principle in many ways. Soon everyone was involved and engaged in the new school spirit. A culture of doing what it takes emerged among the faculty and staff. Together they faced head-on and overcame the challenges that were preventing children from learning. They provided food, took care of medical needs, and even challenged the rampant drug dealing in the neighborhood. The school became a safe haven for the children. Madeline Cartwright knew the children could learn if their basic needs were met, and they were expected to elevate their minds. The entire community responded. Academic achievement improved measurably, and the school was changed. Remember, the secret to the big is the small. Becoming a trim tab starts with identifying a need and then doing something about it. You don't have to have the most exciting, thrilling, high-profile job in order to be successful or to love your work. Each and every day, you are faced with moments of choice, moments where you can choose to be a trim tab. You can work outside your job description, but within your circle of influence, and have tremendous impact.
Okay. So I know probably many of us weren't quite sure of the way she went about what she did. But I think the meaning behind what she did was really important to understand how her little tiny thing changed the whole outlook of that school. 'Cause when I first saw a picture of the roach crawling across the floor, it made me sick. So I know that it would have been pretty hard to just get down on the floor, but she wanted to make a difference, and it did. So what I'd like to do is give you about 2 or 3 minutes. What connections, talk to your neighbors at your table, what connections can you make between the video we just watched and what that paradigm of change starts with me? What kind of connections do you make with that? Go ahead, I was doing a timer, but I don't know much.
I got a timer.
Talk to people at your table, and we'll discuss in just a minute. You got 2 minutes.
Want me to set a timer?
Oh, great, yes, thank you.
In there. His Dylan's mom stays the same. He's been off the past 2 Oh, good. So he was quiet. Do you mind if I use it, because that really is effective for him? Because if he starts being silly, and he's like going it around. Thank you. I know what I'm supposed to.
Well, I think that's the thing where it's like I can't change the views of anyone and like what she could control. So maybe by having little
Oh, the timer went off. Sorry, my phone's on silent. Yes.
We'll come back together in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I actually heard some very good discussion. Do anybody would like to share an idea of something that they connected to, or something that they've actually done to turn the tab or to change that paradigm?
Well, we talked about how, like, as a school, teachers are taking responsibility for all kids instead of it just being like the kids in their classroom are the ones that they actually teach. So,
Great. Anyone else?
I like it. Good job, good team.
So what we're going to do, the last thing is we're going to actually come up with some of those concrete examples. Some people had some great ideas already. We're going to have about, it said 8 minutes. We're going to do 5 minutes because I know we have to get to our groups. But what you're going to do is think of concrete examples that we could either do in our school, you could do in your classroom, and even if it's something that you personally feel, something that I could start small and change personally in myself, that would make a big impact on my life, on other people's lives around me. So at your table, you should have some Post-it notes and some pens. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes, and you're going to together write as many as you can come up with, some ideas, ways. And as you finish, you can put them up here so we can reflect back on some things that we decided as ourselves or as a group we can change. Let's start.
I already set the timer. It's already going.
So then, for every negative thing it's saying,
Start with a two positives. Everyone should be positive.
Oh, I got
Steal
some
that.
work to do. Well, like negative Nancy.
so we're writing the same thing now.
It's fine. We're the same team. Go team go.
See.
Here, I'll do 2. Make mine different. Okay.
You can clean the bathroom floor. I said go clean the bathroom floor.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh shit, she moved.
She said, take it there.
Huh? 2 minutes, 10 seconds.
We got about 2 minutes. Finish and you want to post.
I think I'm gonna try to get everything out.
Oh, there it is. I guess if later on down the road, if like when they go to third grade, if their behaviors are worse, if they have all this data backed up from when they were in second grade, it helps them. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. We're going to come back together in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So real quick, I was going to let you all kind of share, but I know we've got to get to action teams. Sorry, ma'am. So I'm going to share out a few of them I noticed because there were some really, really good ones. Give 2 positives for every negative. We talk about it a lot, but remembering that in your classroom and having a positive attitude yourself, not getting frustrated, we have to remind ourselves. A couple people said control our BAM, behavior, attitude, and mood. Find the best in every situation. That's a good one. Reward the students that don't have the SRTs or the poor behavior choices for doing the right things. I feel like sometimes easily slips to the side. Be consistent, meditation, talk the talk and walk the walk. And remember to be less public with your reminders or your corrections of your students. Morning meeting, refrain from side conversations. Follow hallway expectations that we expect of students. A couple people were talking about talking in the hallway as adults or leaning on the wall while we're waiting for our students. And last one, one more I saw was family meetings, and then change your attitude towards challenging students. So I thought those were some great ideas. So as we move into 2019, some of those things that we can adopt, I'll keep those so we can refer back to them if we want to. Just keep those things in mind so we can start off strong in the next year. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.